Hi, I'm Kieran Don and welcome to the Kieran Don channel on YouTube. Alright, like I said in my last video that no one probably watched, football season is finally here. Hell yeah, going to the Penrith vs Cowboys game tonight. It's like a 5-minute walk down the road, if that, from me, so I'm pretty excited. My two favourite teams. To be honest, I like the Cowboys a bit better than Penrith, but I live in Penrith, I live right near the stadium, so I'm a season ticket holder. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how Penrith will go after the real depressing grand final loss last year. You know, they looked untouchable during the season. They had that massive winning streak, and then they were. I mean, the scores looked close in the grand final, but yeah, they were pretty terrible. They lost a few players. They lost Bacat and James Tarmo, who some say is over the hill. They lost Dane Laurie, who's a fullback who they didn't really they didn't really lose that many established players. I mean, James Tarmo is probably the biggest name. But like they lost Jack Hebbington and they lost a few players which were reserve grade players. Dean Vare, who I was actually a fan of, I was hoping he'd stick around because I think he's a damn good centre. There are lots of few players which have been reserve grade, but these are the reserve grade players that you use if you get injuries or if a player's out of form, you drop him and put these players in. So people are always like, oh, none of them are first graders, but you kind of need these players. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I mean, they recruited okay. They got Paul Murawski from the Tigers, who's actually starting centre today. They got him because Dane Laurie wanted to leave the Panthers to go to the Tigers, and Paul Miroski wanted to leave the Tigers for some reason. So the Tigers are like, you know what, you can F off. We'll make a trade with Dane Laurie, and you can just F off. Another player they got was Robert Jennings, who I'm a big fan of. I think he plays well at every club he's been to, and he's been to a couple. I would actually think about having him as starting centre. They got Jamin Salmon from Parramatta, who a couple of seasons ago who looked good, then he just didn't play first grade again. I don't know. Then they got Matt Eisenhuth, who I think could be a buy of the season. I'm a big fan of him. I think it was actually a Penrith junior. Didn't play any games for Penrith. Went to the Tigers, played pretty good. They got Scott Sorensen from the Sharks as well, who be a pretty handy player to come off the interchange. So they got a few good players. Brendan Naden, the centre, he went to rehab for cocaine addiction, but he seems better now, thank goodness. But he's in reserve grade. Now, I'd rather these players rather than Tyrone May. I'm not a fan of Tyrone May. I don't think he's that good of a player, and he seems, I don't know, like a bit of a douche off the field. He's the one who leaked all the sick tapes. But, you know, he's Nathan Cleary's best friend, so, you know, it doesn't really matter what he does or how he plays because, you know, he's like a koala. He's a protected species. You know, as long as his friendship with Nathan sticks around, even first grade, unfortunately. But anyway, so that's a bit of a background about Penrith. But I am a bit worried. I mean, I do want him to win. The buzz around the city when they were in the grand final last year was amazing. Everyone was happy. Even after the grand final, everyone was like kind of depressed. So I want him to win, but I don't think they will. I think it's going to be a bit of a tough season. I think they're going to have a grand final hangover like GWS did in the AFL, where the emotion was built up so high, then the dreams are just shattered. I reckon they will either just miss out on the 8 or scrape into the 8. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't really think they're going to have a good season. And this is my prediction. Drum roll. This is one of the most controversial things I'm probably ever going to say on this channel. I predict that their coach, Ivan Cleary, will be fired in the next 2 years because the team's underperforming. Yeah, people are going to think I'm crazy, but that's what I reckon. I reckon the teams... Because Penrith's a momentum team. They had momentum last year and they just kept going. But what will happen when the momentum's broken up? You know, what injuries or players out of form or players just depressed because, yeah, their dreams are shattered in the grand final. They play a Cowboys team, which I'm also excited about seeing. Again, we probably won't make it to the top 8, but I don't. Some people are saying we're getting the wooden spoon, but I don't reckon the Cowboys. I take the Penrith hat off when I'm talking about the Cowboys. The Cowboys won't get the wooden spoon. I reckon we're going to be good. I have faith in Todd Payton. Not only does he look like a villain from a action movie, but he's good. I mean, first press conference, Justin O'Neill wasn't in the lineup. His very first lineup for his very first grade game coaching the Cowboys. And someone asked, is Justin O'Neill injured? And he goes, no, Justin O'Neill's dropped. He needs to work on his defense. And I'm like, thank you. The fans have been saying that for the last 2 or 3 years. No offense to Justin O'Neill. He's a good player. He was a good player. He's played Origin. He's won the grand final. But fuck, he's been shit the last couple of seasons. Now he can turn it around. Maybe being dropped could be a wake-up call. But Paul Green just allowed him to play. He's like, oh, don't worry. He lets 3 tries in. Paul Green's like, oh, yeah, but he's an experienced player. He will know better. Next game, let's 3 tries in. Paul Green's like, oh, we need experienced players. And over again, oh, fuck. The amount of tries he let in. But you know, Todd Payton, first thing he did, dropped Justin O'Neill. Pretty excited. So Cowboys lost Jake Clifford, which is shit. Because, you know, as a Cowboy, all Cowboys fans know, we let a lot of juniors go. A lot of talented juniors, you know. Kikau was a junior. Brendan Smith was a junior. Callum Ponga was a junior. The orange-haired guy from Canberra was a junior. The centre from Newcastle was a junior. The prop, Brendan something from Cronulla was a junior. All first-grade quality players, all good enough to be in that team, all let go. We let Simpkins go to the Tigers, so he's probably going to be Rookie of the Year, people. That's another a big call for me. But we let Clifford go. But Clifford's in the lineup today. And it's funny because Todd Payton's lineup this year was actually the lineup I wanted last year, where Drinkwater's fullback instead of 5'8", and Holmes and Felt are on the wings. That's the lineup I wanted last year, and Clifford halfback. But now Clifford's leaving. I don't really want him in the team. I hate this. You can sign a contract 2 years in advance for another team. It's just, if a player's leaving my club, I want him to fuck off now, you know, so we can rebuild or come up with new tactics. But anyway, he's there. It's a shame he's leaving. He's a halfback. He's a local junior. I really thought he was going to stay, but yeah. But yeah. But you know, shit happens. We only really signed one player this year, Lachlan Burr, who I don't mind. He's a workhorse. He's a no-frill player. He can play second row or prop. I've been a fan of his for a while when he was up to Titans, and then he went to the Warriors, and I think before the Titans, he was a Bulldog. I think he's a Bulldog junior. But I don't mind him. He's not in the team, surprisingly. Our only player we signed isn't in our first lineup, but that's okay. Josh McGuire's in our lineup. Not really a fan of Josh McGuire. He's a grub. I hated him when he played for the Broncos, and now he plays for us, and he's a grub. He's not even a lovable grub, you know, like Toby Green in the AFL. Every club hates him except Giant supporters, you know. I like Toby Green, but I don't like Josh McGuire. You know, he's just a grub. He does penalties that cost us a game. He's on the bench. He hasn't really played any games this preseason. I kind of wish he was out of the team and Lachlan Burr was in for him, or Peter Holler, or one of our juniors. But anyway, that's my little rant. The video that no one's gonna watch. Yeah, prediction. Next 2 years, within the next 2 years, Ivan Cleary will be fired. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know what your predictions are this year. Look, I don't hate Penrith. If I'm going to get a bunch of Penrith fans bitching about me in the comments, like, I'm a season ticket holder. Bet you some of those guys who bitch at me aren't season ticket holders. But yet, you know, going off my last couple of videos, I probably won't get any comments. But please press the like button. Please subscribe. Whatever. Let's see what happens tonight, you know. Thanks for watching. Kieran Dorton, can we get to 10 minutes? Yes, we can. Kieran Dorton, out.